Alrighty everyone, welcome back to a brand new edition of New Music Friday, where I give my thoughts on all the new country music from the last 2 weeks. Last episode ran a bit thin since releases in late December are few and far between, but man are we kicking off 2022 with a bang. Obviously this episode will encompass the last 2 weeks of releases, but specifically this week, the 14th, was in my opinion one of the best nights for new country music in recent memory, which we will get to over the course of this video. Last thing before we hop in this episode I'm introducing a little more structure to New Music Friday. I will be presenting all the new releases in 3 main chunks. First is the thumbs down portion, the releases I didn't like, then we will move on to decent, songs I think are good, not great, they did the job, they're decent, and then lastly we'll bring home the episode with the thumbs up category. Songs I really enjoyed and would recommend you check out if you haven't already. Timestamps are still in the description if you're just here for a few songs and want to bounce around, that's all good too. Especially if you're new, we're just happy to have you here checking out the channel, and if you like what you see, maybe consider subscribing for more country music content. That's enough babbling, I'm kind of losing my voice. This intro was a little longer than normal, and starting off, we've got Thumbs Down, songs I was not very fond of, and the one I have to address first is this new Walker Hayes song, Drinking Songs. This song was painful to listen through. I was head in hands for the majority of this track for so many reasons. I mean, first of all, the song sucks. Like, Walker has this special ability where anytime he tries to incorporate country elements into his songs, whether that be instrumentals or the lyrics, it somehow always comes out so bad that it feels like a parody making fun of the very thing or topic he's singing about. Like, I remember just a few weeks ago when Chance the Rapper was on Jimmy Fallon and made a mockery of country music. Just some lighthearted poke and fun, made me chuckle a bit, but that's how Walker Hayes' music sounds when he's trying. It's so bad and surface level you'd think it's trying to be ludicrous, but it's just bad. The predictable Hank references, mentions to waking up to a rooster, it's all so non-believable. Walker also currently holds the title for Worst Lyric of the Year so far with Ashtray Full of Burnt Cigar Regrets. And I haven't even touched on the actual production. Who was in charge of this? It sounds like it was recorded in a soup can and mixed in a blender. The percussion is buried in so much reverb, it sounds like it's about to clip or fuzz out at all times. Every element is completely washed out. The 808s and synth lines just sit on top of everything like an obese cow on a toy chair. Just suffocates the life out of everything. Not that any other parts of the song had life, but if they did, they surely don't now. Look, I'm done with this song. New Music Friday is meant to go quick, but like, how are you going to make a song this bad? At this point, it honestly feels like Walker is just trying to see how much he can get away with. Like, how bad of a song can he make before his TikTok fanbase calls him out? Next up is the new Jason Aldean song, Trouble with a Heartbreak. And that's the trouble with a heartbreak. I am convinced somewhere buried in the internet is a Jason Aldean song generator that just churns out the same song with a different title each time. Furthermore, I'm also convinced Jason Aldean himself uses that website to make every one of his songs. I knew what was coming before it happened. We start with some dystopian, washed-out trap percussion under an electric guitar. We hit a country rock chorus. Second verse is the first verse with acoustic drums. Second chorus, strip it down for the bridge, and then we chuck everything but the kitchen sink in for the final chorus. This song is so boring. We've heard it a million times before. I'm really just shocked at how little Jason's sound or music in general has progressed. Big thumbs down. Moving on from that, another one I wasn't a big fan of was this new Sean Stemaly song, Product of a Small Town. To me, this song just reads like a leftover or wannabe cut from Florida Georgia Line's Dig Your Roots record in 2016, which shouldn't be a surprise given Joey Moy, who was in charge of the FGL record, also oversaw the production of this song, but it just feels so painfully derivative. It's a heavily rock-influenced track with some pretty subpar Heard It Before lyrics about being from a small town. I've noticed some buzz around Sean. Obviously he was featured on Hixtape 2 this year. He's about to release his debut record, but I'm just not feeling it. This was my introduction to him, and in all honesty, it just wasn't a great first impression. Alright, that's it for the songs I wasn't a fan of. It's time to move on to decent. Songs I thought were decent. They're good, not great, some I'm indifferent towards. And the first one I want to discuss is the first of 2 Thomas Rhett songs we got this week from his upcoming album Where We Started, which is officially coming out in April. And the first one here today is Church Boots. Yeah, my old guitar is my new guitar. I think this song had a lot of good ideas. They just didn't come together as well as they could have. Lyrically, I like what the song's going for. It's a funny, silly song about Thomas wearing the same pair of boots everywhere he goes, as well as most of the stuff in his life. He's not picky when it comes to material items. His old guitar is his new guitar, and his work boots are his church boots. I really like the bridge when he's babbling about his boots, but sort of cuts himself off, like, you get the point by now. I even think the rhythm is really catchy in the chorus, the la da 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 da. However, there are also some parts I'm definitely not messing with. The vocal processing I find strips his voice of his personality, the layering just makes it feel robotic and metallic, but my main issue is the ad-libs. I do not need Thomas Rhett ad-libs, and I never will. But yeah, I think it's a fun, pop country song, not too deep but also carries its weight. Yeah, it's decent. Next up is Love Talkin' from the Eli Young Band. You guys on the Discord really did not like this song. Y'all were saying the new Walker Hayes song was better. I find that far from true. Granted though, this isn't any groundbreaking song, I'm not coming on here to praise it, but it's alright. A city pop country fusion, it sees the group dabble into some more atmospheric sounds. I like at the end of the chorus, the little piano walk down. That was just the love talking. Yeah, it's just a tolerable piece of background pop country. Continuing on, next up is the latest teaser from the upcoming Maddie Tae record, Strangers.
How are we ever strangers?
Strangers is a love ballad about being unable to picture life without this significant other, like they can't remember how they got by without this love in their life. How were they ever strangers? As you'd expect from a Maddie Tae song, the harmonies are beautiful. The track has quite a bit of strength, almost a power ballad. I just have some small issues, like when the bridge comes in, it appears way too soon. It literally cuts off the second chorus before it even has time to finish, and it does that again at the end of the track as well. I think it just really puts a stain on the fluidity of the track. I think if they gave it an extra 45 seconds throughout to help build it more and allow it to transition smoother, I think it could have helped out a lot. But regardless, I still think it's a decent cut, still lots of positives, and you should check it out. Gosh, my voice don't want to talk. Jordan Davis collaborated with Seaforth on their new track, Good Beer. Super shallow, super dumb, big pop beat, but simultaneously I think this track's a lot of fun. Each respective member brings quite a bit of charm to their performance. To call this country is quite a stretch, it's a pretty through and through bubble pop beat. I was on the fence of putting this in thumbs down or decent, but I'm feeling generous today, it's got some good energy, and at the end of the day, if this thing came on in the background of a social gathering, I wouldn't be complaining. And it's time to stop complaining, because now we're going to move on to the thumbs up category. Songs I liked. Songs I have positive feelings towards. Songs that if they were standing in front of me right now, I would give them a thumbs up. And as I said, there were a lot of really good songs in these last 2 weeks, so it's a surprisingly beefy thumbs up category, by far the biggest section of this video. And the track to kick us off is the new teaser from Maren Morris, who just announced her third studio LP coming in March, and this new one is titled Circles Around This Town.
I drove circles around this town.
Circles Around This Town is Maren looking back on her career, back on the days when she was busting her butt trying to make it, driving circles around this town, trying to write circles around this town. That lyric actually has me a little confused. I'm assuming she means like the circles of a music note, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I love the specificity in the first verse, as well as how she looks back on her situation and is glad her past self was an optimist, because even looking back, it didn't look like the odds were in her favor to make it. I like the dusty pop country production. I do wish it was a little more instrumental in the chorus. You guys know I'm not a big fan of the sonic explosions we get in a lot of pop country choruses. I also think the drums are a little too upfront and dry in the mix, and it sticks out like a sore thumb compared to the rest of the palette, which, like I said, very dusty, subtle reverb, but on the whole, I still think quite highly of this track, and I'm looking forward to this album. Next up is the first bonus track from Morgan Wade, Run.
Can we fly?
In case you didn't know, Morgan Wade is releasing a deluxe version of her debut album, Reckless. It comes out on January 28th, but we've got an early taste here in the form of Run. It was definitely a grower on me. I wasn't particularly huge on it when it first came out. I didn't and still don't like the super synthetic claps in the chorus, so thankfully they're few and far between. I also didn't really like the double vocal at the end of the first verse. It felt a bit sloppy, but outside of those two aspects, I think it's a solid track. Morgan's not reinventing the wheel here by any means, just saying how she wants to escape and run away from the world with this guy. I like the walk down, that's sort of the defining musical element of this song. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good, subtle alt-rock country tune. Kane Brown. Yes, Kane Brown is in the thumbs up section for his new song Whiskey Sours.
So now I take my whiskey sour.
I forget where, but I know for a fact I've heard a demo of this track somewhere, but I'm over the moon he chose to officially release it, and if it ever gets chosen as a single, then I'll be even more hyped. It's not even the fact that, oh, Kane Brown made an acoustic song. It's the fact that Kane Brown made an incredibly heartfelt, detailed, emotional acoustic song that has me excited. This song is just so sad. It's about a relationship Kane thought was leading to marriage, but it fell through at the last second, and so he's left drinking his whiskey sours alone. I absolutely love the lyricism in the first verse. We were 2 heartbeats away from wedding rings and a pretty ball gown dress at the church off 40 West, and we were talking about our future on the steps of your daddy's screened-in porch, that if I'd ask you'd tell me yes. And then of course you get the production, which couldn't be better. It's an acoustic and fiddle and nothing more. The production stays out of the way and it is perfect. Kane has always had a phenomenal voice that I just feel is built for country music, which only makes his money grab hip-hop pop country songs way more disappointing, because I know deep down he's capable of stuff like For My Daughter, his cover of 3 Wooden Crosses, and now Whiskey Sours. I just think this track is staggering, and I pray one day Kane decides to stay in this sound and deliver us some more absolute treasures like this one. Then there's the new track from Dolly Parton, Big Dreams and Faded Jeans.
Big dreams and faded jeans.
This is the first teaser from Dolly's upcoming album, Run Rose Run, and I just think this is a solid track to set the tone, loving the rocking guitars, loving the driving beat and the way Dolly flows around it, really making sure she remains the talking point of this song. I also love the parallels she draws lyrically between Big Dreams and Faded Jeans, how they're both always busting at the seams, and yeah, I give this one a thumbs up. Next up, I know Jaren's been waiting for this one, it's the new Tenille Townes song, When's It Gonna Happen?
Sometimes I feel like I'm the last one.
When's It Gonna Happen is a super honest song about patience, specifically as it relates to love. Tenille saying how all of her friends around her are getting married, but she's still waiting for the right one to come along. It's accompanied by some killer instrumentation and catchy hooks and cadences that Tenille delivers with a lot of passion. It would appear as if Tenille is building up towards an album, given the timeline, the covers from the singles, and yeah, I'm excited. Thumbs up for me. Speaking of people who would appear to have something in the works, Rhett Eldredge dropped another new track, this one titled Want That Back.
But the smell of old wood bleaches and
Want That Back sort of tugs on the same string as tracks from Sunday Drive like Gabrielle or Magnolia, digging into the memory box and pulling out this faded, crumpled picture of freedom, the fluidity and flexibility that comes with being young, but this time around he utilizes a much more quaking, atmospheric sound to convey those emotions, and quite frankly, nobody hits this nostalgia nail on the head like Rhett Eldredge. Gosh, I am unintentionally having a lot of alliterations in this Rhett Eldredge section. Regardless, the vocal performance is as breathtaking as ever. The power really lies in what Rhett brings to the table, since the majority of the song is a piano, some accompanying guitars, and some subtle steel. The chorus hits with these dramatic ringing shots of ambience that just add so much life and help it breathe. It's gorgeous, and like I said, looking at the single covers, I think something's coming. And y'all know how excited the thought of a new Rhett Eldredge album gets me. Another song I felt quite fond of was the new Hailey Whitters track, Everything She Ain't.
The whiskey in your soda.
I don't know how you couldn't like this song. It's so upbeat and plays to Hailey's strengths. I've always been a big fan of her voice, and this song just proves exactly why. It's got some attitude, some sass, but all the while staying pitch perfect. I love the hoedown vibe the little claps add in the chorus. Man, this song is just so much fun. And she also just announced an album coming soon, so you can bet I'll be counting down the days to that one. Moving on, I've got Josh Kiser and his new one, Whiskey Wins.
slamming doors and slurring words.
Josh Kiser appears to be quite new on the scene with nothing more than a few singles on his artist page, but similar to Sean Stemaly, I heard some talk surrounding this guy. The difference is I really like his new track. Whiskey Wins is a super honest pill to swallow, talking about the conflicting outcomes between people and whiskey and how we all lose when whiskey wins. I absolutely love the lyric, an ounce of courage and a gallon of sin, but alongside the brutally honest and open lyricism, the production on this thing is gorgeous. It's very subtle and airy. It just sounds like a light tone of beige. A lot of slow, delicate piano, steel, and electric lines, all backed by some super intimate acoustic picking and soft percussion. It's really just a great song by all accounts. Big thumbs up. Second to last, I've got most likely the final teaser from the upcoming Muscadine Bloodline album, No Pedal Steel.
No pedal steel.
Gosh, I love this track. Straight out of the gates, this song just feels lonely. The super distant and incredibly bare bones guitar line makes Gary sound super stranded in the mix in a really good way. The steel in the bridge is so heavy, it's so sad. This song is so sad. It's Gary telling off the pedal steel like it's a person, telling him not today. He does not want to hear that instrument because every chord reminds him of this girl. He loses his mind in 3/4 time. Of all the lyrics I have highlighted in this video, that one might be my favorite. The chorus is gorgeous, the whole song just twinkles in the most depressing way. Please check this one out. And lastly, I had to save this one for last, we are revisiting good old Thomas Rhett for the other song he dropped this past week, Angels.
You should have slammed the door.
I have not been so moved by a song upon first listen in quite a while. Granted, now a day later after giving it some more time, I've come off this Angels high I was riding Friday night, but that doesn't mean I think any less of it. I still think this track is one of Thomas's best to date, which is funny because I literally just made my top 10 Thomas Rhett songs. Maybe I'll have to update it next year after his 2 albums come out this year. Angels is a super honest and moving power ballad with Thomas singing to his wife, and how he doesn't understand how she stayed with him through all the turbulence. No, it's not a new concept. I guess I'm just entranced by the passion put forth. Thomas's performance is really one of his best ever. That final chorus is something else vocally. I love the acoustic intro we get. I guess the only change I would make is staying in that acoustic stage for longer. I think they should have held off the full band until the second chorus, not because the band hinders the emotion or the song in any way. I just think it would have led to an even more powerful climax. Lastly, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but to me, the melody sounds super similar to Don't Think Jesus, the unreleased Morgan Wallen song. Anthony messaged me on Instagram, so at least I know I'm not crazy, but let me know in the comments if you guys hear it too. Regardless, all those songs age differently. Amidst all the stellar releases from this week, for now, Thomas has my favorite with his tune Angels. Alright, so that concludes the first episode of New Music Friday covering music released in 2022. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this new structure, categorizing the songs. I like it because it helps divide the video a bit, whereas before it was just one big 20-minute pile of me talking about a variety of songs. Also, let me know what you guys thought of any of these new releases. I always love to hear what you guys think. Links to the Instagram, Discord, and podcast are all in the description below. And yeah, until next time, have a great day.